always different. Giants of weakness, we all make a difference. Anywhere you meet us, we are always different. Giants of weakness, we all make a difference. Anywhere you meet us, Land of mine, Nigeria, on my mind, born in diversity, blessed beyond compare. Ooh, through these 100 years, our struggles and through all our fears, we're strong in our unity. Peace, our destiny. Here we are, standing tall. We're standing tall. Standing tall. We are one. We are 100 years of unity. Nigeria, we will stand. We will stand. Oh, this land of mine. This land of mine. Nigeria, on my mind. On my mind. I pledge to you my loyalty, my love, my ability. Ooh, and as we celebrate ourselves, we shall rededicate to serve a new Nigeria, for a better land for all. Here we are, standing tall through adversities.
Okay,
We are one.
I think we are good to go. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Ariola has been asking to unmute. I welcome all of us to this fireside chat. Please, can we unmute Mrs. Ariola Oloko? I guess she wanted to say something.
She has been made co-host.
Okay.
No, that's fine. I wanted, it was before the meeting started. This time now, so we'll just go on. I wanted to just say hello to everyone. So good evening, everyone. Let's start.
Good evening. All right, thank you very much. So, thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Ariola. Thank you, everyone, for making out time to join us on this fireside chat. I want to welcome you to the SPLN Emerging Leaders Network. This is a fireside chat, a live conversation tagged Readers Are Leaders, a conversation that we are going to be having with Oyin Olugbile, winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature 2025. So this chat is live across all our social media handles, and it's also live on YouTube. And of course, it's a chat, so it's expected that we're all going to be fully involved and engaged. And this is a place where we are hoping that stories will meet depth, thought, and reflection. The School of Politics, Policy, and Governance, SPPG, Public Leaders Network, SPLN, is pleased to set this conversation in motion amongst the many others to come. My name is Ehi Ohiani, and I am going to be your host today. But we can't proceed without the due protocol for an event of this caliber. So at this point, I want to acknowledge and welcome everybody to this event. Both members of the SPLN community, the SPPG community, the fixed politics community, and those from outside. And I also want to recognize the presence of the SPPG leadership and SPLN leadership as well. Mrs. Ariola already, welcomed us briefly, but I think I would welcome her at this point, just to say a welcome or give us a remark before we go ahead. Mrs. Ariola is the director of the SPPG Public Leaders Network. You're welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much. Thank you, CEO. Our CEO is on the call. Thank you, Dean Abiola. Dean Abiola is on the call, and thank you to every member of the SPLN communication team, as well as every single member of the SPLN. I'm really, really pleased to be at this, our first program with the communications, and it's such an exciting and interesting one. I'm honored as well that, the first, and it's something that's going with a bang. And I'm really, really, really excited about the speaker as well. Thank you very much for taking time out and wanting to even be with us, and sharing some of your gifts and your expertise with us. We really, really, truly appreciate it. So thank you, everyone. I'm just as excited to sit and back and listen and enjoy the show, like they say, but enjoy the conversation. I like books as well. I'm a bit about books right now. So maybe this is going to ginger me up, to go back to it and all that. So thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, CEO, for making time out. And thank you, Dean Abiola, for making time out. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to our chair, AE. Thank you, AE.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so we wanted you to set that ball rolling for us. We are also honored and pleased to introduce the founder of Fixed Politics and the Fixed Politics Initiative and the SPPG and the SPLN as well, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, even though we have been informed that she is on transit, but we know that she is duly with us in mind, spirit, and in soul. So we have her best wishes and regards, and I'm sure our warm greetings will be extended to her as well. But like you rightly said, the CEO of the SPPG Africa is also on the call, Mrs. Alero Aida Otobo. She's the founder of Incubator Africa and the author of Reformers Arise, a transformation strategist, a nation builder with extensive experience in sector-wide reforms across Africa. She is dedicated to equipping reformers and transforming individuals and institutions to drive positive change in the continent. Please, I would like us to make a digital welcome for our CEO, Mrs. Alero Aida Otobo, as we take a few remarks from her as well. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Ehi. Well done so far. I'm enjoying the way you are moderating. I'm excited about being here. I love when SPLN, when the different committees hold events. I don't take them lightly. I believe that each one is an event that is unleashing the future and creating memorial stones for history. So I remember the very first one that we had, where we had two individuals, one from Uganda, and I think the other one was from Senegal. It was very informative. So really, if you miss that, I want to encourage you not to miss these events. They've been well curated, well thought through, and they just carry so much knowledge and information. It's good to see Ibrahima is waiting in the waiting room. So let him in. He's our program manager in Senegal. But let me quickly, first of all, bring you the founder's warmest wishes, warmest regards. She really wanted to be here, but she's in transit at the moment. Travel mode is what we call it. And she's left Kenya on her way to Ghana. And in Kenya, she had the first students hangout with the pioneer class in Kenya. And from the pictures, the videos, it was definitely an outstanding success. So I'm excited. I can't wait to get the update. She sent me a message today saying, when I arrive in Accra later on this evening, we must discuss how the Nairobi hangout went. It went very well. So I'm saying that because to help you understand that we are truly building a continental platform, a continental movement. And it's something that we're paying significant attention to. And what is heartwarming for me is that over the last 3 weeks, I have been in 2 important programs, events, that confirm that what we're doing this evening about storytelling and honoring and celebrating Oyin, Olugbile. I hope I got that right. Olugbile?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
good. So to celebrate Oyin, honestly, well done. This is, I'm just excited. I love books. I'm a bit busy now, so I don't read as much as I used to read, but I hope, like Ariola, to go back to that. But well done. To write a book is not an easy task. It's no mean task. And why am I saying that the last 2 events that I was at over the last 3 weeks confirm the power of storytelling, and that we must not take what Oyin has achieved lightly. I believe that is the beginning of a journey for you, and that you're going to be one of the masterful, celebrated, distinguished storytellers on the continent of Africa. I'm convinced. And that this is the beginning of your journey, and this is the least that you will be. And I'm using these words intentionally and deliberately because I want you to pay attention to the craft and to the gift that you have been blessed with. You have a message, and people who have messages, it's important that you convey that message because words are so powerful. You can build movements with the use of storytelling. You can change nations through storytelling. And we have amazing orators like Martin Luther King that took the Black race from where they were to where they are today, with the first non-white president being one that came from Africa and that was Black. That's significant because he said, I have a dream. And those words that he said 30, 40, 50 years ago landed on somebody called Obama. And he became that president. So words have a way of creating. Words are powerful. They establish. Words transform. Words disrupt. And so what Oyin has done, and I hope we get a glimpse of it from this fireside chat, is something that is nothing short of amazing, wonderful. I'm using accolades. So well done, Oyin. Very well done.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
And the two quick events I'm going to say so we pay attention to storytelling was the first one at the in Berlin, Better Politics Foundation. Is a movement for better politics across the world. And the highlight of that event was the power of storytelling. Then a few days ago, we had a workshop program, 3-day program for women politicians who want to run for office in 2027. And the power of communication and storytelling was also emphasized. So I wish us the very best this evening. I am looking forward to an incredible event. And I want to say well done. Congratulations to the committee that made sure that this happened, and to the director, Ariola Oloko. Thank you very much. And I wish you
Thank you
all
so
an
much.
amazing time.
Thank you
You are
so much
welcome.
for that.
Thank you.
For that
Thank you so
very
much, ma'am. Thank you.
inspiring words that you have given to us tonight. Storytelling indeed is the future, is now and is the future. We can't be doing anything without telling our stories, and how we tell those stories mean everything. So thank you very much, ma'am. At this point, I would also want to acknowledge the presence of the Dean of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, SPPG, Dr. Abiola Akeode Afolabi, who is a feminist, a dedicated human rights defender specializing in gender and governance. She leads, on so many fronts on democracy, and at the present, she's leading a fund project on safe and secure school in northeast Nigeria, and currently serves on the board of the West African Network for Peace in Nigeria. She has consulted for local and international organizations and conducted post-conflict research in Sierra Leone and Liberia. She is a multi-award winner. I want us to please make welcome to give us a few remarks, Dr. Abiola Akeode Afolabi. You're welcome, ma'am. Can we spotlight her, please?
Okay. Thank you very much, my sister, and thank you so much, CEO, for that very inspiring speech. I am very proud that from SPPG, we are associated with Oyin Olugbile, the winner of the 2025 Nigeria Prize for Literature. This is one of the things that makes to find out our students, our alumni, being recognized, in this way, be better than what is showing her. Things start like this, and we want to see you go to big places, and we want to continue to be proud of you. Good enough. I seem not to have any option than to continue to read. Where I am is either you publish or you perish. So, meaning that I have no other option than to continue reading and to continue writing before you can move from being a lecturer 2 to 1 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 3, become a senior lecturer, become an associate professor, become a professor. It has to be by the number of papers that you can write. So I am not lucky like CEO and Ariola, who had decided to put book by the side. I have to continue reading so that I can make up to be able to publish. I haven't worked in the development field. I also know that storytelling is one of the most important ways of communicating some of the output of what we have done. So we have been encouraged at different times, to use storytelling because that's the best way to communicate to people. And I try as much as possible to also adopt that, especially when speeches are being made, because it makes whatever you are saying come very close, to reality. I'm really looking forward to today's program. It's really a big honor. It's a privilege for someone who had won such an award to be in our midst and to share some of the things that got her what she got with us. So we won't take it for granted. We want to thank you very much for accepting, to be here today, and also for being one of our ambassadors out there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my sister, the moderator. Thank you, Ariola, for all programs around SPL, and we are so proud of it. Thank you, CEO, for making it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be
Thank you,
here.
ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your inspiring words there. We really appreciate, and just like you said, we are also looking forward to what tonight holds. I mean, even those of us who organize this, we've been eagerly waiting for this. And trust me, we have quite a few things up our sleeves, but we can't continue without introducing our special guest herself, talking about the author of the award winning, the 2025 winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature for her debut novel, Sonya, a graduate of the SPPG Pioneer Cohort, the 2021 cohort. Please help me welcome Oyin Olugbile. Oyin, it's great to have you in the house. Let's make some, if we were in a hall, I would have said, let's make some noise or let's, hit our tables, but we can just give some digital shout outs to her. Can we spotlight her, Oyin? Let's see you and let's see who we've come here to meet today. So we will take a citation of Oyin soon. I think this will come up in a few moments from now, but we just wanted to see Oyin on the camera. If we can see your face and say hello before we take a deep dive.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Auntie Alero. Very kind words. I do not take it for granted at all. Thank you. I feel quite very, very honored to be here, sitting with this amazing group of people, amazing group of change makers. And I'm also excited for the conversations we're going to have today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Oyin. All right, so sit back because the cruise is about to take off. This event is coming to you courtesy of the amazing SPLN Communications and Media Narratives Strategy Committee. And so I'd like to acknowledge the tireless work that they've put into this. And I also want to acknowledge the work the SPPG and SPLN Media and Comms team have given to us, all the support. And I want to say a huge welcome to everybody, every member of the SPPG committee, the SPLN committee. I want to say a huge welcome to you. And please celebrate yourself by giving yourself a digital welcome with confetti, with a celebration emoji, whatever it is. Thank you. So today we will review this book, but beyond the review of this book, beyond reviewing this book, we want to draw lessons from the book, Sonya, to offer us as a people, recommendations and solutions that can shape our minds and further actions as leaders of influence in our own spheres of influence. So a few things we want to achieve today: to be able to explore storytelling that shapes leadership, that strengthens civic imagination, and to do some deep appreciation of creative work of literary art. And of course, appreciation of work that would inspire change amongst us as individuals and as a nation. I welcome all of us once again. At this point, we are going to have a short introduction of the SPPG and the SPLM because we are not unaware of the fact that not everybody on this call is in this community. We've opened this up to people who are within and outside of this community. So let's have a short introduction of what SPPG is all about and what SPLN is all about. So the media team can take it away and give us a short video. Thank you.
Africa's governance challenges demand more than good intentions. They demand leaders of character, competence, and capacity. In October 2022, the SPPG Alumni Association launched with a bold theme, normalizing the unconventional. The SPPG Alumni Association had the bold mission to transform Africa's governance culture. In 2020, imagine the transition from learning to active leadership engagement with the launch of the SPPG Public Leaders Network, SPLN, an exclusive lifelong community of SPPG graduates co-created with the SPPG leadership, dedicated to collaboration, continuous learning, mentorship, and collective action. The SPLN was inaugurated in May 2025 with a leadership workshop in partnership with Yale University's International Leadership Center, featuring Dr. Emma Skye and Yuval Ben David. On August 21st, 2025, the SPLN hosted its global launch, headlined by world-renowned economist Professor Jeffrey Sachs, a distinguished honorary member of SPPG's global faculty. Today, the SPLN is over 1,000 members strong, with graduates already shaping governance and leadership across sectors. We have a total of 19 graduates in Nigeria currently appointed to public offices. Olutomi Marcelina Coker, Commissioner of Health, Ogun State. Sunday Idowu Faleke, Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Kogi State. Igodo Chukwoji, Commissioner and Head, Citizens' Rights, Public Complaints and Anti-Corruption Commission, Ebonyi State. Sam Ifeanyi Hart, Chief of Staff to the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives. Titilola Vivo Adeniyi, Executive Secretary, Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency, Lagos State. Chiamaka Nkemakonam Okeke, Special Assistant to the Governor of Anambra State on Strategy, Execution and Evaluation. Oluyemisi Dawodu, Special Advisor, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Ogun State. Stella Ifeoma Okoya Thomas, Senior Assistant to the Governor on Vulnerable Groups and Poverty Alleviation, Abia State. John Paul Ogo Okonma, Senior Assistant to the Governor on Politics, Delta State. Orifunke Lawal, Technical Advisor, Lagos Water Corporation. Motunrayo Elizabeth Oyedel, Senior Assistant on Photography to the Governor of Ondo State. Uyero Iraraweho, SA to the Governor of Delta State on Youth Mobilization. Samuel Dapia, Director General, Plateau Environmental Protection and Sanitation Agency. Omabosola Karimat Alaka, SA Public Relations/Media, Labour Party Lagos. Tochukwu Pius Ejeziam, Legal Advisor, APGA Agwata LGA, Anambra State. Kenneth Ikedichi Nwosu, Chief Security Officer to the Governor of Abia State. Eluwa Tochukwu, Chief Press Secretary to the Mayor, Umuahia North LGA, Abia State. Nonso Cyprian Ndumanya, SA to the Governor on Strategy, Execution and Evaluation, Anambra State. Dimple Nkem Ojevwe, Assistant Women Leader, Uvwi Local Government Area, Labour Party, Delta State. In Senegal, a graduate of the SPPG Senegal Pioneer Clease, Alassane Diallo was appointed Administrative and Financial Director of the Ministry of Health in Senegal. We have 13 members, the likes of Obinna Nwosu, Adeola Aziz, Chukwunonso Namani, Ibrahim Ajia Mohammed, Samuel Olatunji Adigun, Iya Jonathan Ichava, Khadijat Abdullahi Iya, Terence Obaogi, Samuel Enabong Duff, Emmanuel George Ndoma, Simileoluwa Oludare, and Babajide Benson, who emerged as political candidates at the local, state and federal levels. We also have 5 members who were aspirants for one office or the other. Our graduates excel across sectors. They are being appointed, recognised and trusted with responsibilities that are reshaping Africa's governance landscape. Oyindamola Olugbile made the shortlist for the Nigerian Prize for Literature. Paulinar Bolatito Ogunle and Obinna Gabriel won the President's NYSC Honours Award for Outstanding Community Service. Paul Amatri Abbey was named Distinguished Toastmaster. Oyebolaji Fadase was appointed Director of Politics and Governance for the PFN Lagos State Chapter. Dr. Boluwaji Onabolu leads as ECOWAS Sub-Regional Chair on Water Resources, and Opeyemi Babajide, who serves on the AI Council in Montgomery County, USA. This is the face of the new Africa.
Oh, wow, thank you so much for that in-depth and informative piece there about the SPLN. So we are moving on right now, but just before then, I would give us a little brief of the SPLN Communications and Media Narratives Committee. And this committee is hosting this today, and we want to assure you that you will be getting so much more from the SPLN. A few things that we have put down or that have been handed down to us as our goals and objectives, I'll just share with us so that we know what to expect. And we would also be expecting engagement from the entire community. And top on the list is being able to have successful storytelling, kite members, programs, and African governance success stories. So as you are connected, as you are making impact in your spheres, wherever you are, we want you to carry us along so that we can spotlight our members and bring programs like this to the fore, and also being able to have a repository of leadership stories, to have a unified SPLN, SVPG narrative across platforms, and of course to improve and increase our presence, our digital presence and visibility. So someone is dropping our links, the SPLN links and handles in the chat right now. I would want you to go to the chats, click on those links, and follow all our social media handles. The SPLN on Instagram, on X, on LinkedIn, and on Facebook. Follow and engage because you are going to have so much. And I want to also let you know that everything that's going to be happening there is not just from the comms team, it's going to be from all of us because we are all part of this narrative. And this committee is also here to support other committees with their communication tools, and of course, to shape the SPLN's public voice, strengthen visibility, and craft narratives of leadership. At this point, I would like to to take us to the next level, because he has something that he has some questions that he wants to ask us. So get ready. If you are clicking and following, it's very easy on Spotlighted. Okay, I'm sure point. I was inviting Moses to take over. Okay.
Thank you so much. Please kindly confirm you can hear me. Okay, thank you so much. I think I was unmuted and got muted back. So thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody that is on this call. My name is Moses Datsidum. I was a member of class of 2025. And so for our icebreaker session, basically, permit me to welcome you into a world of Orisha. For persons that must have read this book by now, or even if you have just started reading the book, I'm sure you should have come across some of these terms. So welcome into the world of Orisha, welcome into the world of humans, and welcome into the world of stories. Now, I have some quick questions that I would like to find out where you belong in this world, basically. So if you're listening to me right now, regardless of what platform you're using, you are about to cross the border between the ordinary life and the world of stories. And that means before you continue, you have to choose an identity. So in Sonia, in the book Sonia, there were so many identities that were identified in that book, if you have read it. And these identities get to shape destiny. So in the spirit of the book, I want us to choose your own destiny. So we have a Slido link on the group, on the chat section. So I need you to quickly, who are you? Who are you? Are you Orisha? Are you a sorcerer? Or are you a human? So of course, Orisha has to do with you're the guardian of order. You symbolize structure, wisdom, responsibility. While for sorcerer, you are the keeper of emotions and rebellion. You are that person that challenges norms and brings change through creativity. I cannot see the screen again. I don't know if it's still on. And then for human, you are the seeker of meaning. You represent vulnerability, you represent curiosity, and the courage to ask questions. So just choose. Tell me which one is your identity? Are you an Orisha? Are you a sorcerer or a human? Here, I'm not seeing the screen.
Yeah, so we can see you now.
Just go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Oh, fantastic. So I have so many people. I have so many people saying they are identified as Orisha. Fantastic. Yeah, okay. About 33% are sorcerers. What else? No one is a human. Nobody is human. Interesting.
No, there's no human link. There's none
Oh,
We
there.
there's
have
no
two. We have two
human.
options.
We have
Yes,
two.
only two
Oh.
options. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. There was supposed to be a third option for humans. Oh, okay, fantastic. Let's work with this. So we have so many people as Orisha. Interesting. That's fantastic. Okay, fine. Now let's move on. I can see that this conversation will be fire, to be honest. And this right here tells us why storytelling in leadership is very important. Like our CEO has already identified. So it's important we understand that our identity shapes our decision and the kind of leadership style you're going to adopt in the long run. So let's move on. Now that you've chosen your identity, I want us to go deeper, right? So I want you to
Okay, so can we move to the next question? Because it looks like Moses' network is a bit shaky. Engineer Benson, if you can take over from here until Moses comes back on.
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, you are here. Okay.
Yes, I'm on, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, the next question, please. So the next question, what I'm asking us to do basically is, now that you have identified your identity, right? I want you to just write a 3-word story for me. A 3-word story that represents your world. So in just 3 words, no long stories, just in 3 words.
Sorry, take that again.
Can you hear me? If we still have the link.
Yes, perfectly.
Okay, fine. So I'm saying that now that we have all identified our identities, I want to see how good our storytelling techniques are. So just use your imagination and give me a 3-word story that represents your world.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're an Orisha, give me a 3-word story that represents the world of Orisha. So I'll give you an example. So if I'm on Orisha, for instance, I can say, all that demands sacrifice. Does that make sense? So give me an example based on the identity you've chosen.
The sorcerer is non-conforming.
Non-conforming. I said 3 words. That's 4 words. Okay. Yes, just 3 words. 3 words that describe your identity. Let's go. Sorcerer is non-conforming. Orisha says no. Okay. Okay, I think we can still use the chat section here. You can still pick out from the chat section. If you find anything difficult with the link, we can still use the chat section. Intuitive feeling, empathetic, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, let's go, guys. We have just, I'm sure we have just been about 5 minutes to finish this. All there is wisdom. All there is wisdom. Orisha strength, protection. Fantastic. Cool, thank you. Let's see, come on, guys. We're trying to see so that how many persons at the end of this conversation will also start telling their stories. And who knows, after this conversation, we might just have another, about 5 persons write their own stories. Other is wisdom, guardian angel. I'm sure this is Orisha, creator. Interesting. You know that some of this could form titles and themes of books already. Okay, living freely here. Conquer the mountain. Interesting. Conquer the mountain. Would that be a sorcerer or an Orisha? Hey, which one are you? I've not seen yours.
I'm busy feeding eyes and reading.
Power.
That's quite interesting.
Okay. So I'm already magic cast shadows, sorcerer. Okay, magic cast shadows. Who else is already seeing titles of new books that will be published very soon? Interesting. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. So let's move on. So this is how, thank you. I think we can end that that conversation now. So far from what we have seen, you could see that this is how myth is being written, right? Where we have conflict, we have emotions, we have possibilities. And for me, very important is the fact that these are all foundations of leadership. Okay? So now, my final question, let's just scratch this a bit deeper. So if Nigeria was a character in a story, which stage of the story do you think we are in? So I have 3 stages. Listen to the question again. If Nigeria were a character in a story, which stage of the story do you think we're in? So the first one there is the rising action. We have challenges but hope. Okay. turning point, something new is emerging, and then we have conflict, pressure on decisions. Oh, interesting. Something new is emerging. Of course, you can say that again with SPPG, something new is emerging. Okay. Something new is emerging is still topping. So we don't have conflicts. We don't have pressures. Something new is emerging. Okay, let's keep going. Let me see. Let's see. Conflict is trying to come up at 31%. Something new is emerging. So I love this because for me, this is very important for the fact that we are not even seeing the challenges. We're already looking at the solutions, and that is what SPPG is about. You know, think of how Dr. Obi first sat down, thought of this, and then got a team together and then build up SPPG. So it's obvious that something new is emerging. Oh, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited with this. So, but it's important we understand that whatever chapter we are in, every nation needs storytellers who can see beyond the present. And our responses so far has indicated this, right? And that is why leadership needs imagination. And that is why we are here today. And I'm sure at the end of this conversation, our guest is going to open us more into the act of storytelling. And we're going to use this to further shape the narrative in Africa and, of course, the world at large. Thank you so much for your active participation. Thank you so much. Ehi, back to you.
Wow. Yes, thank you. This is so exciting. Well, I touched on that on the screen because I was looking at the reactions of a few persons whose cameras were on, and I can see that they're as excited as myself. And I think this is a true testament of the character, competence, and capacity that is being built here at the SPPG. I honestly thought conflicts. I mean, with the whole US-Nigeria thing with this point, I thought that that would be number one. But here we are saying that something new is emerging. So this is so profound. Thank you all for participating. Different thoughts. The conversation is just getting started. So please, as the conversation begins, the floor is going to be open. We would want you to put up your hands and, of course, contribute to this conversation going on right here. But we want to dive into the book right now, and we are going to take a review of the author's book. I know that we have a long and a short version of that. So I may to call on Hassana to do the review of author's book. Hassana, over to you.
Good evening.
Can we spotlight Hassana, please?
Thank you. I can't even seem to turn my camera on.
So you've been made co-host, so I think you can go ahead now.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to
You can turn on your camera.
And we have just compiled a small review of the book to grant everyone a little bit of understanding of what has made us gather here tonight. So I'll begin with a review of the novel, Sonia. I said Sonia is more than just a story. It is a careful interpretation of ancestry, imagination, and emotional truth. Through its pages, you can feel the Yoruba cosmology come alive, not as a relic, not as an ornament, but as a living, pulsing force that is capable of shaping destinies. Now, say this novel begins with a delicately crafted prologue that establishes history, which is the premise of the entire story, and with a chronological storytelling style that reminds us of Tales by Moonlight and narratives about the Yoruba mythology. It also gives us a historical account of mythical gods, sorcerers, and heroes, but with a particular focus on the Orishas. Now, the book opens us up to the lives of its main character, Sonia, faced with a path designed by fate, courage, and a burning fire, and also that of Dada, driven by resentment and a hunger for power that rivals the tragic ambitions we have seen in most stories of old that depict power struggles. Now, the story takes us to a village called Banire and introduces us to Dada, a sickly child born with locks, perceived as divine interference, into the family of Ajoke and Agonju, husband and wife, an ordinary couple. Now, the couple, afraid of what the future holds for their fragile boy, desperately seeks more children. And after several trials and the heartbreak of stillbirth, the character of Sonia is finally born. Now, her birth is surrounded by several tragedies. First, the death of her mother, Ajoke, during childbirth, and then her father, Agonju, months later. Now, these occurrences disrupted the seemingly ordinary lives of the family, and the bitter twist of fate pushed both siblings into a new phase of life with their mother's twin sister in Aromire village. Now, they live there surrounded by this unpredictable cloud that hovers around them, which is a prophecy in which they both play crucial roles. Now, as they grow into adolescence, they remain unaware of the significance of this prophecy, but nature has a funny way of playing with signs as it becomes glaring that Sonia was the stronger of two siblings. Sonia is described as sturdy and tall with a masculine physique, and Dada, quite the opposite. What Dada lacks in physical strength, he makes up for with his gift of clairvoyance, though this ability also serves as his greatest vulnerability. And as the stronger and younger of the two, Sonia naturally assumes the role of protector. And this is such a peculiar situation in a society where patriarchy translates into strength. Their realities begin to manifest initially in the form of dreams, unraveling all the effort of their aunt, Abike, to shield them from a prophecy of doom. Sonia disappears on the eve of her arranged marriage into a path that long awaited her arrival. For destiny always lures its subjects unaware towards the assignment, no matter how gory. Now, after Sonia's disappearance, darkness awakens in Dada. Some part of him was relieved that he would no longer be smothered by his sister's need to protect him. But he was also sad that Sonia had broken her promise to always be there for him. And as time unfolds, Dada thrived in social status and is eventually crowned the new Kabiesi of Banire. But he is consumed with fear and the trauma of being underestimated since birth, that he concludes that it is best for his egocentric sister to remain far away, lest she overshadows his authority and efforts. Sonia reappears with newfound strength and confidence as she finds herself in a village, Oluchi, whose king has just been murdered by marauders. She courageously leads them to victory. After months of living among these people and proving her strength, she is crowned king mistakenly, under the assumption that she is a man due to her masculine appearance. Now, Dada, still insecure about his frail physique and health, strongly believes his sister will look down on him, a belief fueled by Sonia's sudden appearance and a swift move to reclaim the spotlight amidst the praises of the people of Banire. After a while, she too is crowned king. And from this point, Dada begins to plot her downfall. Sonia, however, blinded by fame, remains unaware of her surroundings and blind to Dada's scheme until it is too late. We can say that her fall stems from pride, unchecked powers, and overreaching ambition rather than from any supernatural premonition. Her decision to snatch her brother's kingdom under her control, as well as her refusal to heed Oya's warning about her movement and interaction, ultimately led to her tragic end. Now, the novel echoes of Shakespeare's work, just like Macbeth, and the timeless warnings that precede unchecked ambition. Yet, what is striking is how the author, Oyin Olugbile, grounds these universal themes in an unmistakably Nigerian soil, domesticating them with freshness and creative audacity. It also gives a Wole Soyinka writing ethic in its intricate wordings and demonstrates how the author, Oyin, has woven words from her imagination into a classic. One very intriguing commentary that supports this statement is from another review by Musa Obed, where he says, whilst reading Sanya, two things always came to my mind. There is a hidden pattern in this book, and this reminds me of Othello. Now, it explains the gruesomeness of sibling rivalry and the tingling pain of regret, mixed with an unnerving desire for revenge, as observed in the two main characters in the novel. Now, the real brilliance of this novel lies in its layered portrayal of human personalities and their complexities. And so tonight we have the rare pleasure of sitting with the storyteller herself to unearth the inspirations, the questions, and the quiet fires that shaped this remarkable debut. Welcome, Oyin. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hassana, for that wonderful piece that you have given to us. All right, so I think at this point we will be taking a short citation of Oyin Olugbile, and I would welcome Ijoma Eze to give us the citation. It's quite very brief. And then after that, we move straight into the fireside chats. Ijoma, you have the floor. Okay, if Ijoma is not there,
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
I was still muted. I'm here.
Muted, okay.
Yes. Okay. Good evening, everyone. It's been an interesting conversation so far. And storytelling is the social and cultural activities of sharing stories through various mediums like spoken words, which is one of my favorites, writing, film, or art. Storytelling also serves as a way to entertain, educate, preserve culture, and instill morals, which is what SPPG is big on. Effective one uses a narrative structure that can connect with an audience by engaging their emotions, fostering empathy, and building trust through an authentic voice. And today, we're having a conversation with one of the authentic voices that we know and trust, which is Oyin Olugbile, the winner of the Nigerian Prize for Literature 2025. The novel is Sonya, author's citation. Oyin Olugbile is the 2025 winner of the Nigerian Prize for Literature for her debut novel, Sonya. Her work blends bold reimaginations of Yoruba mythology with themes of identity, power, and ancestral memory. Another of her work includes a non-fiction title, The Road to Good Governance in Nigeria and Africa. This was in 2022. She was also the pioneer cohort of the SVPG. Oyin holds a BA in Creative Arts from the University of Lagos and an MSc in Leadership and Development from King's College London, alongside professional certification from Lagos Business School, Harvard Business School of Online, and SVPG. Beyond writing, she is a social impact management consultant and the chief curator of the Experience Factory, where she designs creative learning experience for young people. Aside the Nigerian Prize for Literature, Oyin Olugbile also holds the award as winner, Future ED Award for Best Learning Support 2023, and has been longlisted for the Kayaks Prize for Publishing in 2024. Please, a round of applause, your digital hand for our very, very, very own cohort member, Oyin Olugbile. Yes, yes,
All
yes,
right,
the
thank
digital hand,
you.
please.
Thank you so much, Ijoma. And at this point, I would like to bring Oyin Olugbile to the floor, for us to have this chat with you. We have some panel members who are having this conversation with you. I would step a bit for them because quite a lot to you from this book we want to unwrap. And please, I'd like to call on a panel, have this conversation. If you have your questions, you can put in the comments. And then sort of the conversation, this will be like for the next 25 minutes to 30 minutes. And towards the end, please put your hands up if you want to have a stage to drop your and just Dr. Rado, you are welcome and on mute, and also the our panel and of here. If Samuel is here, please you can put on your camera so that you can be spotlighted. I'm hand session to and to take over.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahi. Thank you very much, everyone. I want to say a very big thank you to our founder, our CEO, our team, and of course to our director. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here this evening. We're really excited. We put in so much work, and he is such a hard worker. She has been driving us for the past 2 weeks to where we are today. And so we're really, really excited. So like she said, we are 3 that are going to be asking questions here this evening. I took the pleasure of trying to get Oyin a bit better before the session today, and we had a really, really good time, talking about it. Creatives always recognize creatives, and so I want to say thank you again, Ahi, for the opportunity to do this evening. It's always an honor. So, Oyin, let's go to the book and talk about the book. In talking to you, I understood, some of the influences that you had while growing up. And then suffice it for me to say that your dad was a broadcast journalist while you were growing up of the very popular NTA. And he was moved quite around the country before he died. He was the manager of NTA programs department. And so that also influenced your creativity at some point. And just so many things influenced you while growing up. But let's just understand like a bit of what was going on in your mind before you put pen to paper. I know you told me that you had told your husband this story, and at some point he said, okay, madam, it's time, sit down and put this story down. And so just take us through what was going through your mind, the influences. We are really, really glad that, in Nigeria, our mythology is what we celebrate so much. And this book brings it out. I mean, even when you are not Yoruba and you read about the Yoruba mythology, it just takes you to that place because we all understand it. And so you have crafted in so many things, so many themes as well. You've played with a lot of themes and all of that. So just take us through, what was your mindset when you started writing the story?
I would like to say thank you once again. Good evening, everyone. My name is Oyin Olugbile, and I'm excited to be here. So what went through my mind? What was on my mind when I was writing? I just wanted to tell a story, right? I've always told stories, very wild, funny stories. but I'd never gotten to write them, right? So I would just, I think I was at the point I was a chief entertainer or entertainment officer in my house, and I would just go and tell wild stories and just to entertain everyone. And sometimes I would even say, "Oh, I watched XYZ somewhere," and I would tell this wild tale, and at some point my mom would say, "You did not watch that, Oyindamola. You did not watch that. That's your story." Right. So after a while, I think imagination got better for me. And I started to think about different stories, and I would entertain my husband at the time and just tell him it could just be saying something random, and I would just come up with a story around it and just tell him, just give him the story. So, but at the time, even though I'd graduated from University of Lagos as from the Department of Creative Arts, I wasn't doing anything with creative arts basically because I just left the university, and before NYC, I'd gone to do a mini MBA at the Lagos Business School, right, under the Junior Achievement vein. So because in my head, I was thinking to myself that I don't want to have anything to do with creativity or any of those things. I just want to be a serious-minded human being, because Nigeria really does not favor, I'm sorry, or did not choose to favor people in the arts. And
You're right. In school, they actually thought we were funny.
Just flipping around.
They used to call us dancers, actually.
Yes. And, they were and I wanted to be seen as a very serious human being. So I said to myself, oh God, I've wasted 4 years. Let me just go and do something that will make me look and feel important with myself. So I went to Lagos Business School. I worked with a few corporate organizations as in corporate affairs and communications. I worked in non-profits. Then I became a social impact consultant, right? And then I was consulting for this foundation that was coming from America to Nigeria for child abuse. And as with the way I consult, I would do a lot of research because in consulting, I'm going to help to draft like organizational structure and all of these things. So definitely research has to go into it, right? So, and then I was doing this research, and for some reason, call it my ancestors, call it something, call it even ADHD. But I found myself reading about Oduduwa and Oromila. And in my head, I was like, how did I go from researching child abuse? How did I get here? But the good thing was that I completely drafted the organizational structure and all of those things for this particular foundation. So I was safe and I'd gotten paid. But at the end of the day, I found myself just going back into this research. So what that did for me was it took me to a place of memory, because now I began to put a few pieces together, because whilst I was at University of Lagos studying creative arts, I think I'm quite certain most of my lecturers did not like me, or they probably just felt this one is she's not okay, because you would ask me a question during exams and I'll be giving you my own opinion about. So I would never answer what you have taught me. It's what I think that I will put there. So trust me, I had a lot of zeros, carryovers. It's it's surprising that I actually graduated with honors, but that's the story for another day, right? But then, so at the time when I started to read about Oduduwa yet again, I started to understand why my mind was the way it was at the university, because my mind is such that questions things, right? And as far as African storytelling and cultural cosmology is concerned, we would see that there are a few gaps. Like, how many of us have been told the story of the tortoise and the dog, and we would sing along, but we'll be thinking about it that, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Like, how is the tortoise putting yam porridge in their head and going bold. This is a wild tale, right? But most of us were too carried away by the way all of our grandparents told the story that we just kind of just moved on it. But then at the back of our mind somewhere, we would try to dissect the story and it just did not make sense, right? But then we also then come from a system where in terms of our educational curriculum, analytical thinking is not that rewarded. Do you know what I mean? So it's the 2 + 2 is 4. Give it to the lecturer like that. You cannot say, why is it not 22? Why is it 4? Right? So and because of the kind of the way we are, we take everything hook, line, and sinker. And the minute we start to question things, people tell us, oh, you are Olodo, keep quiet. This is what we have told you. Give it back to us. But I'm quite rebellious. I'm very rebellious.
Yeah.
So
Not to cut you, but
yeah.
I'm thinking when you were writing down this book, did you think that anyone was going to read it? Like, did you think that it was going to have this wide acceptability?
Yes. I in fact, when I first told the story to my husband as my usual way of telling the story, and he said, write it. And I was like, oh, I'm busy writing budgets, social impact reports. The creative writing is not my thing. Seriously. And he said, Oyin, you need to write the story because there are so many things here. There are so many conversational points in the story that you need to be able to point out whilst writing, because it's not good enough for only you to just enjoy the story. I'm like, oh, this is wild. Like, write it so everyone can read. So yes, Sonia was actually written for the sake of, or rather for the purpose, the singular purpose for a global conversation, for us to begin to talk about our African storytelling and the nuances of our cultural acceptances, basically.
Amazing. That's amazing. Great point. So I'm going to bring in, oh, the other person has dropped off, but I can see Samuel F. Young.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Samuel, please go ahead and ask your question. Oh, Dolapo. Okay, you are not spotlighted. Dolapo is one of
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so Dolapo, please go ahead before Samuel. Thank you.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much. Wonderful listening to you, Oyi. So my question is about you must have seen and the mythology, right? There is a way we've all seen mythology as something far away, there, distant, and what you've done is you've used the writing to bring it closer, and also kind of like tell us this mythology, maybe they are flawed. The Orishas are, yes, they're powerful, but then there's also this side to them. How did you have a struggle in terms of how much can I actually write about it without everyone branding me a heretic, considering what we've grown to know about our mythology? Yeah.
I will shock you. I actually wanted to be known as a heretic.
Okay.
I wanted to be as controversial as I could. Do you understand? Trust me, a lot of things in Soya, a lot of things were actually taken up by my publisher and said, "Oyin, listen, this is crossing the border. You're going to be arrested." And like, or some people just start swearing for you. So I actually wanted to be as controversial as possible, because the truth is, if imagine a situation where I was saying to Dr. Ruth when we had the personal conversation, that he said Tonya could have actually been written like a proper novel, a regular novel, and the character could have been a man, and people would have still read it and said, "Oh, this is nice prose literature. We're going to read it." But then the reason I started to give alternatives in there is so that we can have conversations such as this that we're having right now, right? And what is the place of literature and storytelling, even in regular society, right? So yes, I actually wanted to be as controversial as possible.
Amazing. Effiong, are you there? Okay.
Hi.
Yeah. Hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Am I
Good
audible?
evening.
Oyin,
Go
good
ahead.
evening.
Yes,
Yes.
I can
Yes, we
actually
can.
hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. Thank you very much. Like I've been following your conversation. I've been following the conversation in the house, and I think it's interesting. My question is just, how do you create the correlational line? Because I was following while Asana was doing the summary version, and even on our WhatsApp, we also had some preview. So how do you create the correlational line between the book itself and how it relates to the people and the leadership structure?
Hmm. The people and the leadership structure. Hey, listen, if I was to answer that in terms of theory, I would be giving you an entire thesis because I'm a student of leadership and development from King's College, right? So, but I in terms of people and structure, so we say that art mirrors life, art mirrors society, right? And at the time I said I put pen to paper to write Saya, a few things came to mind. And I said, it's one thing to be controversial, it's another thing to be relevant, right? So I could be as controversial as I can be, or if my story has no relevance in society, it's just going to be another piece of art, basically, right? So, and then I said to myself that the end goal, in terms of, okay, we have input, output, activities, and then outcome. The outcome for me is global conversations, right? For African storytelling. Now you see the piece, that's singular, that piece of that saying that African storytelling, what exactly is it? Right? Is it just us talking about mythology, stories that we've heard before, and things like that? But then the true essence of African storytelling, when it was told at the time it used to be told to us, was for change. Like there would be a theme: obedience, greed, bad leadership, and what have you. Right? That is the entirety of our African storytelling back in the day. And at some point it got lost. Got lost to maybe I'll say urbanization, global development, Western. I do not want to say westernization because that in itself is very what's the word now? It's
problematic.
Let's put it aside. But then in terms of change, basically, that's when maybe a child stole meat from the pot and then you sit everyone down to give them the story about someone stealing meat from the pot and, maybe losing an eye or a leg or just not advancing in life. And then the child learns from it. So when we now put soya in this mix and say that, what exactly is it doing in terms of leadership, in terms of our society? We look at it and we say, what's the relevance here? Someone wants to take power by force. Someone there's ambition there. There is people not wanting to relinquish power, basically, right? People being saying, oh, I'm fighting for the cause of this, but to what end? At a point, you see your selfishness actually showing, even in Soya. Basically, Soya wanted to fight for everyone, but at the end of the day, she was actually trying to prove a point to herself that she can actually defy all odds and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know if I've actually even touched on the subject yet, or if I've answered a bit of the question, Samuel.
Yeah, definitely you have. You have.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so in answering that question, can I just follow up? In answering that question, we see that there's a bit of, and of course, everyone in the book review during our several meetings, everyone was like, of course, there is this strong Shakespearean thing going on in this book as well, where we see the strong emotions from Sonia, strong emotions from Dada as well, and nobody wants to back down. And we see the overtly ambitious Sonia as well. And so we're still talking about leadership, still juxtaposing this theme against our leadership system, our leadership struggle, our leadership hustles in Nigeria, where, like you said, no one wants to back down. And of course, it always leads to a terrible end. But this is now seeming to sound like our regular story. Like nobody wants to learn from this. Please tell us about that.
See, for that, I think to answer that, I'm going to just answer with something I've written, and I'm going to read it, if that's fine. So, one of the things I wrote down for, as far as Sonia is concerned, and as far as its relevance to Nigeria or Nigerian politics and the rest of that, is first off, Nigerian politics mirrors tragedy, ambition, rivalry, unchecked power. Basically, right? Leadership systems often follow dramatic arcs, conflicts, betrayal, downfall, basically. And Sonia mirrors the emotional architecture of our politics. And, in explaining that, I'll say that our leadership in many ways is Shakespearean, right? Big emotions, dangerous ambition, and the tragic cost of ego. So Sonia reflects the way power, when mismanaged, spirals into chaos. And it's not just fiction, really. It's our reality. So that's the simple answer.
Amazing. It is a reality, but I hope that, as we learn, as we start, in fact, as we continue in the conversation, because the conversation has started already, I hope that we are learning from the mistakes of these people who have just refused to curb their excesses in terms of power acquisition and, the tussle for all they can get. So before I bring Dolapo in, and I'm sure Dolapo will want to build on this question, because for me, there are so many themes, coming from the fact that I am also a creative artist, and some of the themes that you played with in this book are themes that, I advocate for every day. First, Sonia as a woman, and that's really exciting. I mean, it's huge. Sonia is larger than life. It is amazing. It reminds me of Queen Amina of Zauzau. I mean, Sonia is larger than life. Two, you wrote Sonia as being female, but having masculine, a lot of masculine identity. She's huge, she's stocky, she's all of that. She looks like a warrior, but she's a woman. That is another theme on its own. Then Sonia is the younger sister to Dada, but Sonia is the leader. Right? Dada was born first, but he was sickly, but then Sonia has taken over so these are some themes in this book that really make it very exciting for me, for someone who really advocates for, the women and women voices to be heard and all of that. So I'm just thinking, another theme though is how you switched the qualities, how Sonia looks more like a man and her brother is more feminine, is a bit more withdrawn and all of that. So just tell me some of the reasons why you did this, and I'm sure Dolapo will want to follow up on this topic as well.
Yes. So I mean, in any developing society, if we do not have conversations about gender, I know at King's College we did a bit on gender studies and its relevance to societal development, right? Because a society that does not recognize the importance of certain gender, basically, in a society can't really grow or even advance, and that's our reality. But then there are the nuances about it, right? There's women can't hold certain posts, women can't hold certain conversations, women can't do certain things because basically because they're women. Now, on the flip side, the reason I turned Shango, the great Shango, into a woman is because when I was doing my research, there were a lot of things about this particular individual that just did not make sense to me. Because, come on, society is saying that the temper belongs to women. Shango had a big, huge temper. Come on. That temper was, Shango could actually burn an entire village with a temper. Now, when we are now talking about gender studies and gender identity, there are so many characteristics that are known for with women and men. Oh, men are this, men are that. You understand what I'm saying? So how come at a point in history, no one could identify that these same biases that people were talking about, it actually had all of Shango in it, right? So then, because something crossed my mind quickly, and I'm just going to put it there. And the point here is that, they say that where there is no law, really, there's no crime, right? And in our Africa or Yoruba tradition, women cannot be king, right? Go to Ife, you have all of the pictures of all of the Onis that have come and gone. Now, a very interesting fact is that about two, I may be wrong, maybe 2 or 3 women have been Onis, but they were never recorded in history. Their pictures are not there. But they actually ascended the throne, either as regents or as something, but they were there. But history would never put them there. So what is to say that at some point, this particular individual we call Shango was actually not a woman, was actually a woman, but because it's Yoruba tradition, it has to be a man. Because Shango wore skirts to battle. Why are you wearing a skirt to battle? You're a man. Why do you have cornrows? You are a man.
Absolutely.
Why is your favorite color red? You are a man. why did you have 3 wives and no heir? So where is that gist coming from? Let us know. So what is to say that because when people have androgynous characters or characteristics or features, they seem too intimidating. I remember Michelle Obama was the butt of the joke in America for a while, because people said at some point they even said Obama is gay. That Michelle Obama, she had to do a gender whatever because she looked too masculine, XYZ. So, and we've had people like this, individuals with these features, with these traits, and society says, oh, you are too strong, oh, your voice is too loud, oh, you look too intimidating, oh, you are too tall, oh, you are too XYZ. But they don't do this to men. Okay, like a man is never tall enough, they're never too tall to be in power. A man is never too strong to be in power. A man is never too skinny to be in power. A man is never too fat to be in power. But the moment it becomes a woman, it's a problem. Right? So now, so doing that for Sonia and deliberately putting all of these characteristics. So I in my head, I said to myself, I want to build this individual, right? And I did. And I did. So I hope that answers that.
Yes, it does. It does. It does.
Thank you very much. Thanks for that. I really like the let's question the history that we've been handed down and actually ask this a very, very tough question. I think that's amazing. You had mentioned in your previous answers that art mirrors life, and there's a line in the prologue that talks about and if I remember it clearly, it says only beginnings are sure, no end is certain. And I want to draw this directly to the political leadership here in Nigeria, right? Because that seems to mirror the thing about politicians making promises at the beginning, right? Grand promises. Oh yes, I'll do this, I'll do that, and no end is certain, right? Which I'm translating that to mean no one really knows what you'll get to do 6 months, a year, 2 years into being in power. What were you? How would you say you wanted your writing to help people be empowered against this form of political tyranny, if I can use that word? Yeah.
That prologue. Before I answer that, I'm just going to put this out there. The prologue was the last thing that I wrote. It's in Soya.
Okay.
The prologue was the very last thing I wrote, and in fact, the book had gone to the publisher before. I said, "Wait a minute, I am a storyteller. I need to be dramatic with this." So, but then the drama for me is some kind of warning or forewarning for what the story is going to capture, basically. So, and then three important things that I'll put out there for you for as far as this prologue is concerned are forgotten myths, constitutional amnesia, power struggles. Right? And I think these three things just captures your question, right, Delapo? Right? And then in going further, I would say that when societies forget origins, they repeat mistakes. It's constant. It's very constant. And the prologue for Sonia mirrors Nigeria's constitutional inconsistencies and manipulations, right? You see, there's Dada versus Sonia, ambition versus legacy, very similar to political succession battles, really, right? And then in Sonia, myths become laws as far as African or Yoruba cosmology storytelling is concerned. The myth becomes laws. Someone will tell you that don't sweep in the night because you're going to invite evil spirits, and then you go with it, right? And then you will never even ask that, please, why can't I? Where had the evil spirit? Where did this story come from? Did someone ever see an evil spirit while they were sweeping in the night? So, myth, or they will tell a pregnant woman not to walk around in the sun. You understand? I had a child. I had a son in one of my fourth child came summer 2022, and it was the hottest time in England. And trust me, I think I almost walked around naked in the sun, and there was no evil spirit. Maybe I don't know. Maybe this evil spirit just applies to Nigeria. Or but then myth becomes law, yeah. And with time, the laws become forgotten. So you see, jokes aside, you see that particular myth that I just mentioned now about it sounds funny. Oh, don't sweep at night, don't do this, don't do that. Maybe at some point it was a thing of inconvenience for someone to be hearing someone sweep at night because it did not allow them sleep. Maybe. And this is us using our imagination or reimagination here. Maybe. And then someone said, let us put the fear of God in their lives and then say to them that you need to stop sweeping because you're just going to die, not because your neighbor cannot sleep. Do you understand? But over time, we adapt to these things. But then at some point, people even forget the why. And we just do it blindly, right? And then you see, this mirrors our politics where constitutions are amended, manipulated, or ignored. The rivalry between Dada and Sonia is the metaphor for Nigeria's struggle. And with succession, legitimacy, and the hunger to rewrite history for power. I mean, if we want to sound academic, that's just a simple way to put it. You know what I'm saying? Because Eledumare said Orisha should not mate with the people, the children of Ishu. But no one said why. But at some point, people forgot. People absolutely forgot the why. Because at the time when they were not getting married, there was some kind of prosperity, there was peace. Right? And then people forgot. And then people just as people forgot why we gained independence, people forgot why we had to fight from military to democracy. People forgot why Nigeria had to what's the word? Why Nigeria had to be Nigeria. People started to forget. People started to forget why we had to let the white colonialist go. We forgot. And we forgot that the reason was because we wanted to be free. We forgot that the reason was because we wanted to be able to develop our land ourselves and build it and make something for ourselves. And in forgetting, we then started to become even colonialist, even to our own selves and to our own people, by wanting to stay in power forever, not thinking about every other person. I don't know if this is making sense. So
Absolutely, it is.
People definitely just forget. And that's the answer for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. Dr. Ruth, over to you. I know the time is fast spent.
Yeah, so Effiong, do you have any question? One more question? So many questions are running through my mind. Effiong, can you hear me? I'm thinking like what when you gave the book to your publisher and your publisher went through the book, what were I just want to know some of the discussions that you people had. I'm just curious like that, like some of the things you people talked about, in trying to publish the book.
My publisher is a very cool guy, Otuke, and I'm actually very happy that he is my publisher. I'm honored to have developed a kind of friendship and understanding with him and his family over time. So the interesting story about this is that I'd actually sent my manuscript to a different publisher, right? And it was rejected. So yeah, like someone is like, what? Someone rejected Sonia. How? What would that? Yeah, he was rejected. But I didn't feel bad. I got the email and I read that manuscript again. And I said, I think I need an editor. So I got an editor. And then we looked through. We worked on Sonia again for another 12 weeks. So I didn't go back to the first publisher. I just found the number of Masobe somewhere, maybe on Facebook, on Instagram. I just found a random number.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I didn't even send an email. I just found a random number and I just called. And the person that picked up was like, yeah, hello. I could hear a baby crying in the background. And it's like, yeah, hello. I'm like, hello, is this Masobe? He said, yes. I said, okay, so my name is Oyin Olugbile. I have this very wild story I need to publish. And he said, okay, how wild? and he said, how wild? So I just gave him a summary of the story. So I could still hear his baby crying. And he was like, okay. First off, where did you find my number? Don't ask the where. I don't even know. He said, because seriously, it's not. First off, I think his wife had just had a baby. He was on paternity leave, and
wow,
his number wasn't even in public anywhere. I don't know how I found it. And he said, "Listen, send me the manuscript." And he said, because I'm not actually at work and I'm not supposed to go back to work in the next 3 months, but send me your manuscript. Let me read it. And he did. In fact, he read the manuscript within a week and called me and said, I would like to publish this.
Oh my God.
Amazing. I said, okay.
Amazing.
I think the first thing he said to me was that, did you write this? I said, yes. He said, you really wrote this? I said, yes. I said, because I'd taken the initial manuscript to get it, to do the copyright with the DIY law and all of that. I said, yeah, it's my work. It's my personal work. He said, oh my God, I need to publish this. And from there,
the rest is history, like they say. So our time is actually fast spent, and he's just nodding me.
Yeah, thank you.
So, final question is, the CEO said that you are going, and I said this to you. You are global. You are not going global.
Amen.
You are global.
Thank
As it stands right now, you are global. And so, people of diverse cultures are going to read this work of art. They are going to interpret it in very many ways. The same way we didn't really understand Trinka, but we interpreted the play anyhow we understood it. And so,
if you give me time, I would explain Shoyinka's work to you, all of Shoyinka's work.
So, what is the thing that you want the young people all around the world to take away from Sonia? Just that one thing that when someone picks up Sonia, what is the thing that they should always have reverberating at the back of their minds? Thank you.
So for as far as this conversation is concerned, and it's because this conversation obviously is for the sake of national and global development as far as Nigeria is concerned, isn't it? And the relevance of Sonia to this discourse and the themes I would like people listening, even young people in Nigeria, Africa, globally to think about are rather ambition without accountability, right? The fear of losing power, right? And the hunger to control narratives. I mean, they don't sound at first when people hear it, it sounds like more like a warning than themes, right? But then it's also things to think about in terms of Nigeria. I mean, it's okay to be ambitious. I am ambitious. We all are ambitious. It was ambition that actually took me to SPPG in the first place, because right. Well, without accountability, it's tyranny. It's just going to lead to chaos and tyranny and what have you, right? And then there's the fear of losing power. The fear of losing power will make you do unquestionable things that are not within the moral ethics of leadership. Do you understand? And then there's the hunger to control narratives. There's the hunger to people would rather be liked than actually get jobs done. Do you understand? We have bad roads. We have systems and processes that do not work. And someone is trying to let you know that you should even be grateful that you have life. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous, right? So, when we think about all of these three things, we then start to think about the kind of leader that we are, and the kind of leader that we want to become, or the kind of leaders that we deserve, right? And that's the answer for that.
What a wonderful way to just rest the conversation. Oh, Oyin, you have been excellent. Thank you, Dolapo. Thank you, Samuel. I mean, like my co-panelist. Thank you, Ehi. And he literally has a rope around my neck right now. So thank you very much. Back to you, Ehi.
No, but I'm not going to pull the rope.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say thank you so much to Samuel Young. Big thank you to Oyin, Olugbile, but don't go anywhere, the four of you, just stay right there, because we are opening it up to everybody. I saw some hands up, before now. So please, if you have a question or a comment, I know some persons were already putting some comments in, making comments in the chat. Please put your hand up so that we can spotlight you and get your contribution on this. But trust me, I was writing down a whole lot, and just before I put on the first person, there were a few things you said, Oyin, about your lecturers, saying this one is not okay. This one is not okay at all. And what I wrote there, what I got there is that, it's okay not to be okay, because here you are. I mean, at the end of the day, you're okay right now. If you have become the okay person, and I'm sure some of the lecturers would make reference to you forgetting that they had passed such a comment. People who make such comments, after a while, they even forget that they said such.
Yes.
And if you took it to heart at that point and you conformed, you wouldn't be especially when you are sure of your integrity, you are sure of your conviction, like you said, you were rebellious and all that. But I would want to look at that rebellion from the disruptive angle, disruptive, of status quo that is setting us back, not the rebellion that takes us to where we don't want to get to. And of course, the stories around the tortoise that don't make any sense. And somehow in our generation, we're just carried away listening and having fun and not challenging it. Seriously, trust me, not this generation.
Yes.
I have told such stories to my kids, and they have challenged, like, my last son would tell me, "Mommy, that doesn't make any sense." They have the effrontery to tell you just as it is.
My son would say that's crap. My son would say, Mom, that's crap. Say, Mommy, you're capping.
You're capping, And I also picked something about the support from your husband. And I want to say well done to all supportive spouses, honestly. And I also want to encourage all of us that, look, if there's anything you have to find somebody who believes in you, who believes in your disruption as well, a partner that can bring out the best in you. And one last thing I want to drop there is the character of Sonia that you built. As far as I'm concerned, a disruptive character. I will make reference to my children again. One day, my first son told me, he said, "Mommy, do you know that one day we might wake up and find out that God is a woman? And not just that he's a woman, a Black woman." Yes, he told me that. And I'm like, actually, because he said, who says that God, who says that he's a man? And there, even though we have man, so it was just, I don't know, something had happened that led to him saying that. But because society has, just fixated us on certain characteristics, so we just, it becomes very stereotypical. And then when we see someone else trying to be themselves, expressing that themselves in what doesn't fit into what society has created, it looks so strange and so weird. So I'll say well done. These are my own thoughts and contributions. So people's hands are up. I'm going to give them the floor to make their contributions and comments. And please, as we give you the floor, you would have a minute and 30 seconds to do that. And first up, we have Omolola Oluwadare. Can she be unmuted?
Okay, I've been unmuted. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations, Oyin. So my question for you is, how do you balance your faith with the story that you told? Because I write, but most times I write poems. So it's like there's a conflict of interest in my head. How do you balance it? Probably I can get something from that would help. Then the second question is, how do we bring these stories down to children? Because one of the challenges I've noticed, we are shouting that we don't have enough representation in the House, the Senate, that women are not well represented. Some of these stereotypes start from when they are children. When the male figure is more respected and should own power, while the female is supposed to do some domestic duties. So do you think there's a way to bring these stories down to children as well, probably integrating into the curriculum so that they could also be trained from that young age, and when they grow, they will be able to understand that women also deserve a seat at the table? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the two questions, Oh, the first one rather. How do I balance my faith with African storytelling? Uh, Honestly, I don't know. I remember someone asked me one time. I said, "Do I worship whatever it was I worship?" And I said, "Trust me, I'm a fire tongue speaking Christian, whatever that means, right?" And so you see, the thing is, as far as developing Africa is concerned, this is the important conversation, and I really thank you, Omolola, for that question, because we have been told that African cultural cosmology is pagan worship, right? But the question I ask is this: we all here are very good.
Oh,
We
okay.
watch.
Go ahead.
We watch a lot of Marvel stories. We like Thor. I have a huge Captain America shield in my house, right? Now listen, Thor, I mean, yeah, in fact, let me actually focus on Thor. Do you know that Thor is a pagan god in the in Asgard, or however,
Norse, in Norse mythology.
in the Norse mythology? Thank you, Dalapo. But they don't worship Thor. We can actually enjoy Thor without worshiping Thor, right? We can, and over time, this particular story or individual or character has been sold to us globally, and no one is questioning it, and we're just taking it because we're enjoying it. Because at no point am I going to wake up and say, "Oh God of Thor, guide my path today." Right? And you see, that thing that they've done to us is what they've done to us essentially is stolen our identity, because we can love, understand, appreciate our tradition without being barbaric about it. We can be Christians and Muslims, yet have connection to our ancestors. Is this making any sense? Because, and that's the one thing that they've stolen from us. And when we now start to talk about African storytelling as the next gold, next oil to sell, we then begin to say to ourselves, how do we want to sell this? With no shame, I'm telling you, with no shame or reservation, right? I live in England. I have 5 children. Some were born in America, some were born here. And none of my children's names start with an English name. They're baptized Anglican, but your name is Simi Leolua. Your name is Eniolua. And my children are very proud to talk about their names. And they understand the meaning. In fact, they have songs in Yoruba that when they're upset, we start to sing to them. Some of them are like, "Oh, I'm shy, mommy," and they'll be happy. But the thing is, wherever it is, wherever we are in the world, and then we say to ourselves that this is who we are. Who exactly are we? Because the people in Nigeria can't even have no identity. So what about those of us in the diaspora? Right? So we can do research, we can talk about these things without necessarily having any spiritual ties to them, if you know what I'm saying. But then if we don't take charge of our stories, people we start to hear different stories about us. And Chimamanda talked about the issue with a single narrative. We have lived with this single narrative for too long in Africa because of the fear of, oh, what will people say? How are we going to look? No, it needs to end. And then the second part about I can't remember the second question. Sorry, Omolola, what was it? What was the second question?
Kids, getting into kids from the
Yes,
young
yes,
age.
yes, yes. Unfortunately, my reality is different. I live in the diaspora, and I've lived there as long as my children were born. So in my home, there's nobody thinks about I've got 3 daughters and 2 sons, right? And trust me, I think that the daughters in my house are even more domineering, and sometimes even I'm afraid of them, and I go to hide. But that's a joke. But you see, we teach the children early on that people should be respected, not age, not gender, but people. Right? So no matter your age, what you look like, your color, if you think someone is being disrespecting you, I mean, ask yourself, have you been disrespectful to the person as well? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, unfortunately, I do not have the same reality. But what I can say to that is this: I think we need an overall of what's the word now, of the Nigerian curriculum, and I don't even think that this is the space or time to have this conversation. The reason I went on to do leadership studies at King's College is because I said to myself that at some point I want to be in the space to have conversations with African leaders, right? Because I know for a fact that the curriculum that we are being taught right now is not for us. It's a curriculum that was drafted, I think, during the first or second industrial revolution. And Europe, or even Britain, they've changed the curriculum, their own curriculum, like twice in 50 years. And we're still using the same one that was designed for us to accept commands and obey. No, because the proper African traditional system actually recognizes women in certain aspects, in so many aspects. I tell you, for free. And the roles and the contribution that women actually bring to society. There's that matriarchy has been long forgotten in African tradition, and it used to be there. It used to be there, right? So, and in fact, I'm hearing now that they need to stop teaching in vernacular. I mean, when children are meant to be learning English, Yoruba, and Hausa from primary one, and someone wants to completely just and we're speaking English? No, come on. But like I said, this is not the space and time. He is probably just going to come here and just give me a knock on the head and say, stop talking.
We can go on and on, Thank you so much. I'll just read one or two comments from the comments, and then we'll take Moradeyo Anamusi. Our CEO, Mrs. Alero, wrote in the comments. I just want to read it because I think it's interesting. It says, The Shark is a powerful, well-written book. The Shark by William P. Young. This 2007 novel is a prominent modern example of God portrayed as a woman in the book. The main character encounters God, who appears in the form of an African-American woman named Papa. As well as Jesus and the Holy Spirit. I mean, this is interesting. Okay, so let's hear from we can't react to every single thing, but let's hear from Moradeo. You have the mic. You can unmute.
Yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for this session here. Congratulations, Oyin, on the launch of your book. This has been very inspiring. I haven't read the book, but I hope to read it soon. One of the most profound things you've talked about today is I mean, you've mentioned it so many times. We've forgotten so many of the useful narratives that we all are familiar with in current African society, and I resonate with that thinking. And I think one of the things that gives me hope is the embracing of founders, the idea of founders. I know beyond the concept of founders building foundations for like businesses or organizations or initiatives or anything, I think the word finding, finding those narratives that we lost, it gives me hope that we can still, circle back to find those useful narratives to help build the society that we want. So that's how I always reconcile with that unfortunate incident of losing or forgetting those useful narratives. Just to get to my question, that was just a comment. My question, I did put this in the Slido. I'm curious, what setting would you estimate, or do you imagine the story to be in? What century was the Sonya? Yeah.
What century? I think it would be in the maybe 14th century, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, because those were the people that came after Oduduwa and Orunmila and the rest of them. So like from the beginning of age, basically.
Okay, and my other question was the names. How do you come about the names for? I mean,
most of the names are original names. When you read the book, the only tweak rather in there was the Sonya, and Sonya was Sonya actually has two meanings, right? The first one is merging Shango and Oya together, Sonya, right? So and the other one is the true Yoruba meaning of Sonya is to pay for recompense, to pay for suffering, do you understand? Like Sonya, pay for pain, basically. You understand? And I'm hoping that that's some kind of prophecy to Nigeria, that we can actually at some point saw our and payback, and someone has to, we get back whatever it is that we've lost. Really.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that question. But before I take the next person, which is Kosi Sochuku, Oyin, I want to ask you a question. So from the way you're answering these questions, it's obvious you have deep root, in the Yoruba language, or you understand the Yoruba language, you understand Yoruba culture and history, right? And of course, someone listening to you would say, oh, this is, she's speaking, Fone, so wouldn't expect that you would even know how to speak Yoruba, or that you would even understand yes.
Yeah.
So I want to ask about your children. Maybe this is a bit personal now. Do they know how to speak Yoruba? Do they understand as much as you understand? Because like you said, you gave birth to them there. And then if they do, how were you able to get them on board? I think that's what I'm interested in.
Let me not
teaching them. Yeah.
Let me not kid you. My children the only thing they understand is Magba here. And they will say Magba here. because that's when I'm in public, I live in England where you can't verbally abuse a child. So when the child is acting crazy, they just Magba here. Because and that's the only thing. I remember one of my daughters, one day she was in public, and I was giving her, she was doing something, I was giving her that look, and then she was like, "Mommy, what?" And then she said, "Magba here to me."
Yeah.
My first understands, right? He understands a bit. He understands why law, you understand, just quite a bit of it. That my second maybe, but you see, there's remaining three. It's God's grace. But I'm not giving up hope, because I actually did not understand Yoruba for a while as well when I was younger, even though I was born in Ibadan, right? And I started to understand Yoruba when I believe when I was even in secondary school up at university, because I had a friend who I met her in my first year at the University of Lagos. We all know the popular actress Omomi Dada. She was my very good friend. And the first day she saw me when we were doing our registration, and she was speaking Yoruba to me. I was like, "What are you saying?" And she was really saying something. She was like, "Oh, but Yoruba. Hey, I will start to speak Yoruba to you from." And she spoke Yoruba to me from our year one to our final year. And I'm really grateful to her for it, because my mom was a school teacher, right? My dad studied English, at Ife before going on to Bournemouth. My mom also, so we grew up in a home where, yeah, they would speak the Yoruba to us, but it wasn't to everything like that. But the good thing was that we understood as much as we could, because my dad also was a storyteller. My dad would tell us stories from his head, and it would always be in Yoruba. So even sometimes when I'm telling my children some stories, new stories, and I'm singing in Yoruba, they will sing along, because I'll tell them, this is what you need to say, this is what you need to say. So that when Yoruba singing in stories, there's a call and response, right? So you have to say something and they have to respond. Oh, they will learn it. So my children will learn it, and they will laugh and laugh about it. And they'll say, what does it mean? I will tell them what it means, that it will crack them up more, right? But you see, baby steps, baby steps. Baby steps. Yeah, I think Kosiso has a question.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I missed a bit of it. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay, Kosi.
Okay, thank you very much, Oyin, for this conversation. So, one of the things I picked up earlier was when you said you really never wanted to become a writer because of the creative industry is not really favored in this part of the world. Yeah. So you mentioned that your husband also nudged you, but I know that people can always nudge you. But what was that moment when you were like, okay, let me just give this a try, regardless of how it pans out? Let me just see how they work, and what gave you that belief that people would actually read your book? Because one thing again that happens to artists and some people who refuse to create sometimes is that they feel like, oh, who is going to read this book, who is going to watch this movie? It seems so absurd, it seems so unrealistic. So what was that moment when you were like, okay, you know what, I'll do this regardless of what anyone says, or if people are not going to read it or anything? And what gave you that assurance that people are definitely going to want to read your book?
That's because I read it and I liked it. I think that's a simple part of it. But you see, writing is not easy. And I'm not saying this to give myself any kind of importance or anything. But, life, as at the time I was writing, I was pregnant with my second child. Even as at the time the story came to me. Do you understand? I was pregnant. And so I wrote the summary and the first chapter in 2017, as soon as the story came. As soon as my husband said, you need to write this, I was like, okay, I'm writing. So I wrote all of that. And I understood, or rather, I had the concept and the idea of the story I wanted to tell. So I gave that summary on my laptop, wrote the first chapter, and packed it up. So there I was in America having a child. I had my child in April. I was in Nigeria in July to get the child baptized. And I went to Nigeria in July. By August, September, the baby was baptized, and the same few days after, I lost my mom. So after losing my mom, imagine carrying the two children, and she was my only surviving parent at the time because my dad had died in 2009, and my mom, fast forward, died in 2018. So I packed my children, came to England to come stay with my husband's mom because I was like, okay. Yeah, and then at the time, my husband was busy trying to build Flutterwave with Iggy and the rest of them, right? So I said to myself, I was here in England, right? So life was happening, and I was busy trying to navigate it. And at the time, the only time I had really, or when I wrote the summary, the first chapter in 2017, I didn't go back to it in 2018. But the story was there, taking shape and form in my head. It was building. Then 2019, I started to navigate my life back again. Okay, yes, I need to get back to my career. I went to even though I did the online program at Harvard, I still had to go in physically for something at Harvard, and I was just busy. Life was just busy doing ping pong with me, really, right? And King's College also. I was going to go to King's College at the time, and 2020 came, and COVID happened, right? And realized I was pregnant again with my third child. So, and I believe that COVID was what said, Oyin, sit down and do this. So I started to put all of the chapters. The first thing I did was just putting the story in like a sequential form. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it's going to make sense for writers here, for creative writers, in a sequential form, like number one to number whatever till how the story starts and ends. Then I now started fleshing it out, piece by piece, drawing up the characters, doing further research, right? So 2020 was when everything actually just looked like some kind of manuscript. And that was the year it was also rejected, basically. So going back to saying, oh, I need an editor. Do you understand? I need an editor. And then the editor looked at it, worked on it, all of it, and read it. I said, oh. So I sent it to a few people, my father-in-law, another uncle, another relative of ours, to say, read this. What do you think about this? And they said, listen, this is a masterpiece. Right. So, and this is a charge to writers that are starting. It's hard to start, but start anyway. And you don't have to have everything all figured out. It took me between 2017 to 2022 for Sonia to be published. And I was okay with that. And in between all of those gaps and everything, there was that research going on consistently. I changed so many names. I started to research the meaning of all of the names. Ososi, for those that have read it, Ososi is actually a Yoruba demigod of earth, right? So I had to do a lot of research to say, I'm not in a hurry to do this, but I want to do it and do it well. And I also want to tell this story. So people say, oh, writing is hard. Writing shouldn't also be lonely. No. Especially for women and for men with career. I mean, people have to eat, people have to hustle, people have to live, right? But have two things: have an accountability partner and have an editor, someone you can pay to look at your work and put your words together for you. You understand? Because even all of the great writers, all the Shoyinkas, the Chimamandas, they have all of these people at their beck and call. So why not you? Even if your editor is just someone random, writing shouldn't be lonely. Don't be afraid to show your manuscript to someone to say, help me look at it. Is this making sense? What does it look like? You know what I mean? And that was what I did, and that I wasn't afraid to do that. It took a while, and that's in fact the truth is that when Sonia came out in 2022, it came out December 2022. As of April 2023, it was completely sold out. The first batch that was published. A lot of people actually didn't know, because my publisher had to come to England to attend the London Book Fair, and was bragging that, listen, this is our next best thing as far as writing is concerned. And I kept saying to myself that, wait, this book actually sold out. Sold out where? In what country? You understand? And but he was very confident that he had read something that was different, and that was the that was all the assurance I needed, apart from the fact that I had somebody from the beginning that said, oh, you can tell good stories, you can write, go and do this. And we need such people. It doesn't have to be your spouse, it doesn't have to be your husband or your wife. Most people say, I'm not getting support from my spouse. I mean, you can get support from even your neighbor, So yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. We have one more hand up, and I think that will be the last for the night. So let's just take that very quickly. If we can do that in the next 1 minute, the question and the response, and then we'll get to the final, because people are already asking where they can get the book and all that. So Engineer Benson, you can unmute. Let's take this quick one. Thank you. Engineer Benson, are you there?
Maybe it's having network issues.
Okay. Yes, probably having network issues. All right. So, wow, this has been an awesome time. I know we've had network glitches here and there. I missed a few parts here and there as well. But I can see that we have, so let's say you can drop, okay, so we have, are these questions? Yeah, so these questions are for us to participate in. Assuming Sonia's story is a fictional, it's fictional, pardon me. I haven't, oh, okay, these are
No, these are questions, and the first one has been answered already. She's answered the first one.
For Oyin. Okay. First one has been answered, okay. Did you have any intentional approach or strategy to choosing the names of the characters in the story? I think I remember you mentioning something like that, except you still want to say something about that in this second question.
Yes. It was yes, I was very intentional about.
Hi, Oyin, do you want to speak to this second question? Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Maybe Ehi was having issues hearing you, but we can hear you clearly. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I was quite intentional about it. In fact, most of the so the point where for people that have read Sonia, the point where Sonia changed her name from Sonia to Bade. Bade is actually some tribes that worship Shango actually call Shango Bade. Right? So and for Dada is actually a real. So for Yoruba people, we've heard the saying that Shango Oleja, Dada Oleja, only Aburo to Boju. Dada cannot fight, but has a sibling that is strong. So in history, the second or the third king of Oyo, Alaafin of Oyo, was Oba Ajaka, right? And he was a very weak king, very, very weak king. In fact, some people say that he was almost a cripple and he couldn't defend Oyo, Ile, and all of that. And Oyo was actually was a powerful kingdom in the West back in the day. So, but Ajaka had a younger brother that was a warrior of some sort and was winning battles and fighting battles. So a lot of people said Ajaka should step down for his brother to get on the throne to become king. Now that didn't sit well with Ajaka for a while. I mean, eventually, the brother became king, and this particular brother, this said brother, is actually Shango. Now, for Ajaka, what most people do not know is that Ajaka was actually had dreads. He had the dreadlocks on his head, right? And most people used to call him Dada, Oba Dada, right? And so that's saying, so you remember when I said that myths become law and then it gets lost or forgotten, right? Most people do not know that's proverb, that's saying Dada Oleja, right? Dada cannot fight. But they don't even know where that story came from, why it became a proverb. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And the particular story here was around Shango and the brother Dada. I mean, Shango eventually became king, but then it was also his reign or his tenure did not last it didn't last long, basically, right? So Yeah, most of the names were very intentional, and they actually they had some relevance, or they have some relevance in the story. Yeah. Hey, did you hear that?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the line was breaking a bit. I don't know if it's from my end.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw you looking confused,
Okay,
like.
so I believe that, you've spoken to that, but I think I missed a bit of it. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so I think at this point we've really come to a conclusion. Maybe one last thing I want to hear from you, Oyin, is how would you relate this book to the Nigerian situation and the Nigerian leadership presently? Yeah.
Mm. The Nigerian situation and Nigerian leadership. I think I must have said something about that. But there is the present Nigerian leadership. Like, do you want me to be controversial or thematic or?
Be yourself. Be real.
Okay. Okay. So what I would say is that as far as the Nigerian leadership is concerned, and I've said this before about myths being forgotten, right? And people holding on to power. And I believe I even said three things that I mentioned. I think I mentioned the Nigerian politics mirrors tragedy, the ambition, the rivalry, the unchecked power, right? I also talked about leadership systems often follow dramatic acts of conflict, of betrayal, and then downfall, right? And I also talked about the emotional architecture of our politics as far as Sonia is concerned. And when I heard about the I think it was the brigadier general being killed by the bandits, intuitively I just said to myself, this is some kind of betrayal at work, at play here. But then that's the obvious betrayal that we all can talk about. What about the betrayal of votes, betrayal of trust, betrayal of expectations, right? Because we're hoping for a Nigeria that works. You understand? I say to people all the time, I said, listen, I'm very patriotic. And the person said, oh, if you're that patriotic, why do you live abroad? I'm like, I'm here because I want good education for my children, right? But because and the sad part for me is that most of us millennials will remember the kind of education we got. It wasn't that amazing, but it was suitable. It was good because that's why we can speak intelligently like this. That's why we can, because in fact, at the time, I think we had even teachers from like Ghana, from so many places. We had even some British nationals that would come to Nigeria to teach at the time. You understand? But I do not think it's the same anymore. I think now good education is for the elite now in a place like Nigeria. And if we can't have the basic thing like education at primary level, it's betrayal of even growth for us. Because if we are not equipped intellectually, if we're not equipped socially, how can we even help ourselves, right? I was talking to someone about the fact that I'm a student of leadership from my I learned from Professor Fumi Olonishakin. And Fumi Olonishakin would tell us that, listen, for all of you scholars from this place, if I ever hear you talk about bad leaders and good leaders, we will collect your certificate from you, because the way I learned leadership is not about leadership as leaders as good or bad, because there's content, and then there's context, and then there are situational leadership. There's leadership as a process, and there's leadership as a person, if you know what I'm saying, right? But then there's the general expectations that we all deserve, or that we all want from any society where we are living, like the basic amenities, basic things, really, and that's what we're expecting. And my charge using Soya is that I think the time has come for Nigerians to begin to take the leadership into their own hands now, and not see it as a third person act, right? Because most of the characters in Sonya actually took, in Sonya most especially, did not wait for anything to be handed down. She was like, you will take me to someone to marry me off to somebody. Why? Someone I don't even like. I don't want. You know what I mean, right? So, and most of the other characters in there also took charge, and I believe that the early, and even this thing I'm saying is something I learned from the SPPG as well. And Alero, Dr. Obi, we've all been charged to be the leaders that we want to see, or the leaders that we were expecting. And the earlier we begin to reflect that, I think the earlier the change will come for us as Nigerians. I can't hear you. I know you're talking and smiling, but I can't hear you. I know you're asking, can we hear you now, but we can't.
No, we can't hear you. I think there is a lag. We have network. Can you leave and come back in? We can't hear you at all.
I can hear Oyin. Oyin, can you hear me? I can hear her. Ruth,
No, we can't hear a he.
Really?
Okay, maybe okay.
Yes.
Hey, if you can hear us, can you log out and log in? I think
She'll
you have
come
to
back
device.
in.
Okay.
But I think we're at the closing moments. We've basically gone through our agenda for this evening, and it has really been interesting. I mean, who knew, a creative and also like an amazing talker. I mean, you kept us so mesmerized. Like we were.
When I wanted to ask a question before I was logged out. I was asking, but while I'm waiting for A, because we need to go now, do you think this book can be adapted like the Wakanda? In that Wakanda movie.
I really hope it's not like Wakanda. I really hope it's better, because I hope I'm not quoted here. I did not like Wakanda because I did not think Wakanda represented me as a person.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
I'm just giving a scenario.
I know.
It will not be like Wakanda. It's series, but something big. And using Yoruba as a philosophy for the Nigerians in diaspora.
Yes.
We need to speak Yoruba to our children. They need to speak no matter what, small ones, and let's just be able to communicate. And
it's more than, I think it's more than Yoruba. I think it's more than Yoruba, because at a point I had to even teach myself a bit of Igbo. Fun fact: the sequel to Soya is on Igbo cosmology, and you should anticipate that and expect that. Yes, because
is about idioms. Idioms, you need to learn their idioms. One word can be 10 messages. So
right, I understand. I totally understand you, but I also understand that you see the thing is, I do a bit of educational work here in the UK.
Oh, okay.
One of the things I know is that for children's brain can actually develop with multiple languages.
Yeah.
And we have the abundance of it in Nigeria, yet it's dividing us. Do you understand? If I had the power or the opportunity, I would advocate for all three major languages to be compulsory for children to learn at a primary level. And you will see the wonders. you will see what that would do to developing a child's brain. A child that is multilingual, that can think in different languages, can actually, it's amazing. If people that have done child psychology, and you look at a child's brain and the way it develops, and the things that make a child's brain to develop. Now imagine a child going anywhere and you can't tell, oh, are you Igbo? Because oftentimes that thing upsets me when people say, when I say my name is Oyin, and they say, oh, are you Igbo? Because they probably think I'm saying Oyin or something. And I'm like, do I look Igbo? Yes. Like, yeah, I'm Nigerian. That's the most important thing. The most important thing is that I'm Nigerian. Right?
Maybe they want to
Right.
make it
Yeah, and that should be our identity as Nigerians, because 250 ethnic languages, and someone can only speak one. We are doing a lot of it's I mean, we are stealing from ourselves.
Yeah.
250 ethnic languages, and we can't even boast of speaking 10.
Yeah.
No, we're not helping ourselves. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Hey, are you back? Hey, are you back? So that we can run up.
I think he's back, but I'm sure her network is still.
I'm back. My audio, I don't know if
you
can you hear me?
We can hear you.
can hear you.
Please just round up so that
Okay,
we
you
can
can
go.
hear me. All right, thank you so much. I don't know, it looks like I was muted on my other device, that's why. So I want to appreciate all of us. This has been a wonderful conversation, and so many people are asking where they can get the book. So Oyin, where can we get the book? I think I saw a link in the chat.
Yes, you can get at
Okay.
Roving. You can get at
Okay.
Terra Culture, the bookshop at Terra Culture. They've been selling fire for about 3 years now. You can get on Amazon. Amazon US, Amazon UK. You can get Soy on Amazon. Where else? All Roving Heights. I believe. I think some physical stores. I think Med Plus used to sell as well. I'm not sure if they're selling hard copies there now, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Oyin, for your time. It's been so awesome having this chat with you, and I believe that we're taking. Yes, please. Loading. Yes. We have so many people, so many of our graduates who are doing great and awesome things. So this is just the first in a series of so many others to come. And I'm sure we have such great people even on this call. So get ready. You might be the next person to be spotlighted or highlighted. We're having a chat with you. And we want to say that coming up very soon is a podcast, an SPLN podcast that is going to be, amongst us, the graduate members of the SPLN. Is still a part of spotlighting what we are doing, because we just talked about storytelling. If we do not tell these good stories, then we have ourselves to blame when the narrative out there is not what we want it to be. So I would want to say thank you to the leadership of SPPG, the leadership of SPLN. I don't know if the CEO and the Dean are still here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs. Ariola. You want to say
yes, we are here.
A quick word from you. Oh, you are here. Okay, thank you, Ma. Sorry, I don't know who is.
It's been an excellent evening, and I'm very thankful that I stayed. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma.
We're so grateful.
I don't know if Dean is there. Okay, thank you very much, Oyin. It was fantastic. I just kept nodding and smiling, and I laughed a whole lot. It was really, really nice. The conversation was so smooth. It was a good evening. One thing that I took away that I'm still going to hold you on to is that translating Soyinka's works for us. I heard that and I held on to it, and I said, yes, that will be the next thing. We'll look forward to having that.
happen. Because I thought, yeah, that's what you guys work. We all just read it over the years, actually in school and all that, not really understanding in some cases the deep meaning. So we'll be interested to get you translate those words for us, and it'll be something that we can do. So I look forward to it, and thank you very much. Awesome. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Congrats. So thank you to the SPPG and SPLN leadership, to Oyin, to SPPG comms and tech team, to the SPLN community and network, to everyone who attended this fireside chat. We're so happy to have had you here. And of course, to the wonderful, how do they say it, indefatigable Communications and Media Narrative Committee. This is our first outing, and like Dr. Ruth said, we have so much. Please, I want everybody to help me appreciate this wonderful, wonderful team.
Well done.
Everybody's name, Benson, Kosi, Dr. Ruth. I mean, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. I want all of us to follow on all our media handles. We're going to be coming at you when we reach out to you to sign up for being a part of the content creation, because all the content is not going to be created by this committee. It's going to be, we'll have writers across the entire network. Please jump in on it, and let's get engaged and engage with all our handles every day. Thank you. My name remains yours truly, Ehi Ohiani. God bless you. Have a beautiful night. Yes.
Can I quickly say something? Please, I hope you all have bought our book, The Road to Good Governance in Nigeria. It was our SPPG capstone project, spearheaded by me. Please read chapter 3 on leadership. I hope you learn a thing or two.
Okay. Great. So I think we'll get more information about that and share across the groups.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a very good book. If I can jump in, I know you now. I understand. With you in that capstone group, with Ayobami in that capstone group, I'm not surprised that it was a book. Well done.
Thank you.
And in the generosity, by the way, everyone. I think the money, what you raised, what you gave a portion of it.
Yes, all the
proceeds to the school.
Yes,
so thank you very much. Yes.
Wow.
We mustn't forget that, we mustn't forget it.
Yes, so I just, Thank you very much.
Thank you, our CEO, and please extend our greetings to our founder.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, communication. Well done. Well done. Thank you, Ehi. Well done.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Tell you all to go home. He said bye.
We are the future. We are the dream. We are the nation. We are part of this. Yes, we are so amazing. That's the least we shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history. How can they say that we are finished? We have just begun. When we have nowhere else to run to, we have nowhere else to go. So get out of the way of the land of our dreams. We are the nation, we are part of this. Oh, we are the nation, we are part of this. Whoa, carry the song, carry the sound. The future is here. The future is here. Goodbye yesterday, tomorrow is now for the taking. The future is here. The future is here. I am the future. I am the future. I am the dream. Whoa, I am the nation. I am part of this. Yes, I am so amazing. That's the least I shall be. The least I shall be. At the heart of the nation, changing history. How can they say that we are finished? We have just begun. future is here. Raise your hands in the air if you believe the future has come now. The future is here. The future is here.